What if the worst moment of your life became the beginning of your greatest love story? This is the true account of Emma Rodriguez, whose life split into before and after on a rainy November evening, and how the man who pulled her from twisted metal became the person who would never let her fall again. Emma was 26, driving home from a double shift as an nurse, when a drunk driver ran a red light at 70 miles per hour. The impact sent her sedan spinning across 3 lanes before it wrapped around a light pole. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, someone is injured in a drunk driving crash every 2 minutes in America. Emma became that statistic at 11:47 p.m. on November 12th. Her legs were trapped, the steering wheel had crushed her ribs, and she could taste blood in her mouth. The pain was excruciating, but worse was the silence, the empty street, the rain pounding on shattered glass, and the terrifying realization that she might die alone in the dark. Then she heard a voice cutting through the chaos. "Stay with me. I've got you." A man appeared at her window, his face blurred by rain and her fading consciousness. His name was Marcus Williams, a paramedic driving home from his own shift when he witnessed the collision. While others drove past, Marcus stopped. He assessed her injuries through the wreckage, talking to her constantly to keep her conscious. "Tell me your name. Tell me about your family. Stay awake for me." Emma later learned he'd used his own jacket to apply pressure to a bleeding wound on her shoulder, held her hand while calling 911, and refused to leave her side even as gasoline leaked from the crushed engine. Fire rescue would later say that Marcus's quick thinking and medical intervention in those critical 8 minutes before they arrived likely saved Emma's life. The injuries were devastating. 3 broken ribs, a shattered femur, internal bleeding, and a traumatic brain injury that caused temporary memory loss. Emma spent 2 weeks in ICU and faced months of painful physical therapy. Her insurance covered the basics, but the bills piled up, over $200,000 in medical debt. Her boyfriend of 3 years left within a month, saying he couldn't handle seeing her like this. Her parents lived across the country and couldn't afford to help. Emma's world had narrowed to a hospital bed, crushing debt, and the slow realization that she might never walk normally again. Studies show that 78% of accident victims experience depression during recovery, and Emma was drowning in it. Then Marcus showed up at her hospital room 3 days after she regained full consciousness. He brought flowers and an apology for intruding, but explained he always checked on his patients when he could. They talked for an hour. He came back the next day, and the day after that. When Emma was discharged to a rehab facility, Marcus visited twice a week without fail. He brought books, told jokes that made her ribs ache from laughing, and sat with her through physical therapy sessions that left her in tears. "You saved my life," Emma told him one evening. Marcus shook his head. "You're the one doing the hard part now. I just bought you time to fight." What Emma didn't know was that Marcus had started something extraordinary behind the scenes. He'd organized a GoFundMe campaign among his paramedic colleagues that raised $40,000 toward her medical bills. He'd contacted her insurance company multiple times advocating for better coverage. He'd arranged for a pro bono lawyer to help her sue the drunk driver's insurance. When Emma found out, she broke down crying, overwhelmed that this stranger, this man who owed her nothing, had made her battle his own. "Why are you doing all this?" she asked. Marcus's answer was simple. "Because somebody did it for my sister once when she got sick, and we had nothing. And because you deserve someone in your corner." 6 months into her recovery, something shifted between them. The visits that had started as wellness checks had become the highlight of both their days. Marcus confessed he'd never met anyone with Emma's determination. She attacked physical therapy with the same fierce dedication she'd brought to nursing. Emma admitted she'd never known someone could be so selflessly kind without expecting anything in return. Their first date was in the hospital courtyard, Emma in a wheelchair, Marcus pushing her through the garden while they talked about everything and nothing. "Is this weird?" Emma asked, laughing. "Dating my literal lifesaver?" Marcus grinned. "I don't think there's a protocol for this. We're making it up as we go." 1 year after the accident, Emma walked down the aisle at her wedding, walked, without assistance, in defiance of doctors who'd said she might never manage it. Marcus stood at the altar crying as his bride took those powerful steps toward him. In her vows, Emma said, "You saved my life that night, but you've saved it every day since, from despair, from giving up, from believing I wasn't worth fighting for." You taught me that the worst moments can crack us open to let the best things in. Marcus's vows were equally powerful. I see people at their worst every day. It's my job. But you showed me what happens after the worst. How grace and grit can rebuild anything. You didn't need saving. You just needed someone to believe you could save yourself. Their story went viral after a local news station covered their wedding, and the response was overwhelming. Thousands of people shared their own stories of strangers who'd helped during crises, of love that emerged from tragedy, of lives rebuilt stronger after breaking. Emma and Marcus started speaking at trauma survivor groups about resilience and recovery. Marcus advocates for better support systems for accident victims, highlighting how medical debt and social isolation compound physical trauma. Emma returned to nursing, specializing in trauma care, telling her patients, "I know the fear you're feeling. And I promise you, this isn't where your story ends." But here's what makes their story truly remarkable beyond the romance. Marcus didn't treat Emma like a damsel who needed constant rescuing. He treated her like a warrior who needed an ally. He showed up, yes, but he also stepped back and let her fight her own battles when she needed to reclaim that power. He paid for things when she couldn't, but he also celebrated fiercely when she returned to work and earned her first paycheck post-accident. Treating someone like a princess, Marcus says in interviews, doesn't mean doing everything for them. It means honoring their strength, believing in their capacity, and standing beside them, not in front of them, while they conquer their mountains. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that having strong social support during recovery can reduce PTSD symptoms by up to 50% and significantly improve physical healing outcomes. Marcus became that support for Emma, but she also became it for him. He'd been carrying the weight of his high-stress job alone for years, and Emma understood that burden in ways no one else could. They healed each other. Their love story isn't about a hero and a victim. It's about two healers who found healing in each other. Yes, oh, what's the deeper truth here? It's not that you need to wait for a dramatic rescue to find love. It's that the people who show up in your darkest hours reveal who they really are, and if you're lucky, you get to build something beautiful with them on the other side of disaster. Emma's accident was traumatic and changed her life forever. She still has chronic pain, still has scars, still has hard days. But she also has Marcus, who's seen her at her absolute worst and chose to stay. Not out of obligation or pity, but because he recognized strength even when she couldn't see it in herself. That's not a fairy tale. That's the kind of love that's actually built to last because it's rooted in reality, resilience, and mutual respect. If you've been through something that broke you, if you're still picking up pieces, if you're wondering whether you'll ever feel whole again, Emma wants you to know that your story isn't over. The accident doesn't get the final word. Your pain doesn't define your future. And the right person won't need you to be perfect. They'll just need you to be real. Drop a comment sharing a time someone showed up for you when it mattered most. Hit that like button if this story touched your heart. And subscribe because we tell true stories about real people finding hope after heartbreak. Your comeback is being written. Keep turning the pages.